Alrighty. Hi everyone, my name is Lorinas, or Lau. I'm with Fiberplane, and I wanted to give you a quick preview of some fun things that we've launched this week. But before we get to this week, a quick recap of last week. And last week was a mega launch week. Mega Launch Week was a big launch event along with 24 other partners sharing of all the cool things that we've built over the last few weeks. And we've had our own rolling blog post of our own launches, things we've shipped on Monday to Friday, including static code analysis, worker to worker, tracing support, file tree view inside of the studio, OpenAPI docs support, and a whole swath of improvements and goodies and guides and all of that for Honk, and the Create Honk app CLI. So go check all that out, fiberplane.com/blog mega launch week. And now back to this week. So this week, we're announcing a few small quality of life improvements. So I'm a keyboard shortcut person. I like to stay on the home row, basically. So one thing we've added is a command bar that you can trigger by pressing Command K, like in most applications, that allow you to toggle and open different parts and navigate to different parts of the application. So that's one thing. Another thing that we've always had in the studio has been AI-generated request data. So this is something that you wouldn't need to type that data out by hand, something to quickly accelerate your workflow. And we've always had the option to toggle between the friendly option that would just sort of conform to whatever the API is expected to handle, and the hostile one that would try to break it. But there are cases when the request data that you want to generate is either somewhere in between, or you want to just test like a very specific flavor of hostility, so to speak, and you wouldn't be able to specify that. So now if you hit Shift Command G, you will be presented with this prompt that you can send alongside the instructions that are sent normally. So we can say, create a body payload data that includes non-existent object properties and is duck themed. Let's hit that. And so now if we switch to body tab, we'll see that there are some properties that presumably this endpoint is not able to handle. And so now if we send a request, we see that it sort of echoes back the properties that it is able to handle, which is the goose ID and the decibels. But it ignores the quackiness and the feather color that it just simply ignores. So our API endpoint is able to handle those cases. And then the final bit that we're introducing, which is quite exciting as well, is our own Model Context Protocol server. So if you don't know what Model Context Protocol is, it is a protocol introduced by people at Anthropic, which is an open protocol and a standard for how applications should provide context to the language models. So if you're using something like Claude Desktop or Zed, I believe, are the main two hosts right now. There are plenty of more that I'm probably missing out by the time you're watching this video, but they're able to pull context from applications that use this model context protocol, specifically that have servers written for them. And the good thing about it, of course, is that you write it once and all of these different hosts are able to use it. So Fiberplane now also has a model context protocol server. It's in early stages, but you can take it for a spin. The links will be in the description and everywhere links are normally placed. But to give you a show for what it is able, actually, before that, what it is, specifically what context it is able to pull are things like routes, things like the traces of the application running locally, and so on. So the studio can sort of extend being part of your development cycle into places like your editor, or for example, the Claude desktop application. So if I switch to this And I have a prefabricated prompt, so you don't have to watch me type it out all this. Just grab a list of routes live in Fiberplane and draw a schema of how they are laid out semantically and how they live in the file system. So if I now fire off this query, I need to, for each tool that the Model Context Protocol server uses, I need to approve it. And now the Claude will also draw us a hopefully valid mermaid diagram. So this one will show us the file structure. Yeah, so this is it was able to pull the data from the file tree endpoint that is available on the locally running Fiberplane Studio, and then it was able to draw out the quick schema for the routes that are there. That's very nice. Let's do another one, which is a little more involved, which basically says, now send a sequence, hold on, let me close this. Now send a sequence of requests against 3 of the routes, connecting the response of each together, and then visualize the trace of each request once it's complete in the same mermaid language. So let's fire that away. And now we'll see it trying to do the same. So we're going to allow sending it request I forgot to add a request body. But the cool thing here is that the model is able to check the traces to see what's happening wrong with our request. So we see it do it live. So it tried sending a request, it forgot to add a body, then it tried sending it request again with a body, it had another issue, and all the time it was able to pull the data that it needed from the request. And here we go. So we've sent 3 requests. We sent one to get a gaggle of geese, then one to get a specific geese in a gaggle, and then get honks from goose, and is able to lay out all of this information. Let's see, there's more requests going on. All right. Claude is going wild. Right, so what it's doing now is probably updating the request information with the other requests that it executed. That's interesting. I've never seen it done it like that, but I guess that's what you get for using an agent in this case. Right, so in any case, I'm glad to see it's been able to correct itself and handle it, which is something that a model is able to do when it has the right information. So it was able to send the request, it was able to see the responses that were not 200, it was able to pull the trace information, all the while running that same feedback loop against the studio. Pretty impressed with the result. And here you see the entire sort of a request chain in a classic mermaid drawn request diagram. So that's just one flavor of probably something that you'll be able to do using the Model Context Protocol. Again, it's available on NPM and you can install it like most. Have a go and let us know what you think.